Дам. Подожди, что там будет? Ну попробуй. Этим.
Tonight, President Trump all but ending hopes of more coronavirus relief money for Americans before the election while he is still battling the disease. The president abruptly calling off talks today with Democrats. It comes as nearly all the Pentagon's top officials have entered quarantine after a top military official tested positive. And Facebook and Twitter citing the president for spreading false claims about the disease. The president's doctor today reporting he's had no symptoms, but so many unanswered questions. The president saying he'll be at next week's debate against Joe Biden, but could he still be contagious by then? The move today by the FDA, why it makes a vaccine before Election Day nearly impossible. Our one-on-one with Dr. Fauci. Hurricane Delta rapidly strengthening into a Category 4 storm aiming at the U.S. Facebook banning conspiracy theory group QAnon, but does it need to do more to police its platform? Our exclusive, the former insider who recently resigned in protest. The white Texas police officer who shot an unarmed black man in Texas, now charged with murder.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. The White House, the center of power in America, is tonight a center of anxiety and misinformation. Tonight, as the count of COVID cases apparently linked to the White House grows, President Trump is again tweeting falsehoods about the danger of the virus, again likening it to the flu, even though he remains infected and infectious. Also tonight, many of the nation's top military leaders are in self-quarantine. And late today, the White House pulled the plug on COVID relief negotiations. A lot to tell you about. We start with Hallie Jackson, who has late developments.
A contagious commander-in-chief at home and at risk of spreading both the virus and bad information. The president staying isolated but not quiet, tweeting today he's pulling out of negotiations on a COVID relief bill until after the election. That sent markets into a spiral.
Clearly, this is a huge shock to the system. We know millions of Americans are out of work and they're depending on another stimulus check. However, this isn't the end. What the president is announcing today could just be a negotiating tactic.
Now, the COVID outbreak connected to the federal government intensifying. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff quarantining at home, along with other service chiefs, after a top Coast Guard official tested positive for the virus, according to 3 defense officials. A military valet to the president is also infected, and so are 2 more West Wing staffers, according to sources familiar with the diagnoses, meaning at least 17 people tied to the White House have tested positive, with workers in protective suits overnight spraying disinfectant. President Trump remains in the residence, already eyeing getting out, tweeting he plans to be at the next presidential debate in Miami just 9 days away, only 2 weeks after he first started showing symptoms. The CDC says people can still infect others up to 20 days from when they start to feel sick, as the president's doctors measure how much virus he's carrying.
We should have a sense of when he is less infectious. We have to ask if the stress of a debate is really worth taking along with the infectious implications of that potentially to people in the debate.
The president and first lady, both currently contagious, working out of the residence, where the White House says staff wear full personal protective equipment, have been tested daily if they're in contact with the first family, and can talk with a well-being consultant brought on to focus on mental health concerns. The patient-in-chief still downplaying the risks of COVID after sending a signal that horrified many medical experts by removing his mask on his return from the hospital last night. Today, incorrectly comparing COVID to the flu in an online post removed by Facebook and flagged by Twitter, and suggesting after his own extraordinary experience with tied to the after a top Coast Guard official tested positive for the virus, according to 3 defense officials. A military valet to the president is also infected, and so are 2 more West Wing staffers, according to sources familiar with the diagnoses, meaning at least 17 people tied to the White House have tested positive, with workers in protective suits overnight spraying disinfectant. President Trump remains in the residence, already eyeing getting out, tweeting he plans to be at the next presidential debate in Miami just 9 days away, only 2 weeks after he first started showing symptoms. The CDC says people can still infect others up to 20 days from when they start to feel sick, as the president's doctors measure how much virus he's carrying.
We should have a sense of when he is less infectious. We have to ask if the stress of a debate is really worth taking along with the infectious implications of that potentially to people in the debate.
The president and first lady, both currently contagious, working out of the residence, where the White House says staff who wear full personal protective equipment, have been tested daily if they're in contact with the first family, and can talk with a well-being consultant brought on to focus on mental health concerns. The patient-in-chief still downplaying the risks of COVID after sending a signal that horrified many medical experts by removing his mask on his return from the hospital last night. Today, incorrectly comparing COVID to the flu in an online post removed by Facebook and flagged by Twitter, and suggesting after his own extraordinary experience with world-class medical care, quote, "We are learning to live with the virus."
Now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune, I don't know. But don't let it dominate your life.
It is an insult to me and every single person who has gone through what I've gone through.
Kristen Urquiza's father, Mark, died from COVID after, she says, listening to the president's recommendations.
Would you say that your dad had a choice to let coronavirus dominate his life?
No, my dad was the strongest person I know.
And Hallie joins me now. Hallie, there's a new confirmed COVID case in the president's inner circle. What do you know?
There is, Lester. Just moments ago, one of the top aides to President Trump, Stephen Miller, confirmed via a statement that he has tested positive for COVID and is now in quarantine. He's apparently been isolating for the last 5 days and had tested negative previously, right up until yesterday. Lester?
Hallie Jackson's out of the White House. Thanks. The FDA today imposed stricter standards for coronavirus vaccines, making it unlikely a vaccine will be approved by Election Day, in spite of the president's insistence that there likely would be. NBC's Kate Snow spoke with Dr. Anthony Fauci today about that and the mixed messages coming from the White House.
Last night, the president again promising a COVID vaccine soon.
The vaccines are coming momentarily.
But today, the FDA released new, stricter guidance for vaccine makers seeking approval. At least half of participants in trials must be followed for 2 months after their second dose, meaning a vaccine approved before Election Day is highly unlikely. I spoke with Dr. Anthony Fauci for a Cornell University event just prior to that news. The FDA is proposing stricter guidelines for approval of a COVID vaccine. Do you support that new FDA guidance?
Oh, I definitely support the FDA. Those guidances were put together by career scientists and regulators.
Are you concerned that with talk about what the rules should be around vaccine trials, that Americans start to feel like it is politicized and start to think, I'm not going to take this thing when it comes out?
Well, obviously, we've got to be careful when there's mixed messages and inconsistencies in messaging.
Based on the trials underway, Fauci projects a vaccine could be distributed beginning late this year or early 2021. As for the president comparing COVID to the flu,
the potential for what COVID can do is very, very much different from influenza. You don't get a pandemic that kills 1 million people, and it isn't even over yet with influenza. So it is not correct to say it's the same as flu.
The president last night, as everyone saw, removed his mask. When he got back to the White House, he posed for photos, then he shot a video.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it.
Is that the right message? Fauci avoided directly criticizing the president, but said this.
There are some things that should be universally practiced, and that is the universal wearing of masks, avoiding crowds, keeping a distance, doing things outdoors more than indoors, and washing your hands frequently. That doesn't matter who you are. that's what you should be doing.
He's concerned that cases are rising in many parts of the country and says the nation needs to be prepared for a very different holiday season.
It's going to be like no holidays you've had before. You've just got to be careful. It's tough. It's not easy. It's tough.
He's confident following science will eventually lead us back to normal. Kate Snow, NBC News.
With President Trump recovering in the White House, Joe Biden had the campaign trail to himself today, appearing in battleground Pennsylvania. And he got a boost from former First Lady Michelle Obama. NBC's Garrett Hank has more tonight.
Tonight, Joe Biden using this historic Gettysburg battlefield to frame the 28-day fight still to come.
Today, we're engaged once again in a battle for the soul of the nation. The forces of darkness, the forces of division, the forces of yesterday are pulling us apart, holding us down, and holding us back. We must free ourselves of all of them.
Biden never mentioned President Trump's name, as he also got help today from Michelle Obama in a rare campaign appearance.
Right now, our country is in chaos because of a president who isn't up to the job.
Biden opening a nearly 10-point national lead, according to the NBC News polling average, though the race is tighter in battleground states. With President Trump still recovering from COVID, last night Biden suggesting the president is to blame for contracting it.
Look, anybody who contracts the virus by essentially saying masks don't matter, social distancing doesn't matter, I think is responsible for what happens to them.
And also telling Lester he regretted his tone at the first debate.
Will you shut up, man? It's hard to get any word in with this clown.
It seemed to go against some of the language you've said about, not being divisive. Do you regret any part on your part?
It did. I should have said this is a clownish undertaking instead of calling him a clown.
And we're now just one day away from the highly anticipated vice presidential debate. Both candidates are in Utah preparing, and both campaigns say their candidates have tested negative for coronavirus today. Lester?
All right, Garrett Hayes, thank you. In the Caribbean, Hurricane Delta strengthened into an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm today with the U.S. Gulf Coast in its sights. Let's bring in Al Roker with the latest now.
Lester is now a strong Category 4, taking aim right now on Mexico. 145-mile-per-hour winds, moving west-northwest at 17, makes landfall sometime tomorrow as a devastating Category 4. Out into the Gulf, re-intensifies as a Category 4 storm, making landfall along the Louisiana coast sometime late Friday night, early Saturday. The European model a little to the west, but as you can see, Lester, from Galveston to New Orleans, we have the risk of this storm making landfall. We do know anywhere from 5 to 10 inches of rain.
He helped everybody in this community.
Jonathan Price's mother. Tonight, the first step in a Texas family's plea for justice.
My son didn't deserve this. He helped everybody in this community.
Jonathan Price's mother today, after hearing the police officer who shot and killed her son Saturday night was arrested and is now charged with murder.
Mr. Price was unarmed. He was non-aggressive and he had his hands up.
Witnesses say Price was trying to break up a domestic dispute at a gas station. Tonight, the Texas Rangers shedding new light on the fatal encounter, saying in a statement, Officer Lucas attempted to detain Price, who resisted in a non-threatening posture and began walking away.
Investigators confirm witness accounts of what happened next, saying Lucas deployed his taser on Price in this gas station parking lot, then drew his service weapon, firing on Price, who died at a nearby hospital.
The Rangers say their preliminary investigation shows the actions of Officer Lucas were not objectionably reasonable. The district attorney not commenting on the facts of the case amid the ongoing investigation. Support for the family now pouring into this small town. Hundreds gathering last night to honor Jonathan's life with peaceful calls for justice. Price described as a pillar of his community. The 31-year-old worked for the city and as a personal trainer, choosing to move back home from Dallas to help his mother.
With that police officer now behind bars, what does justice mean for you?
Don't let him out.
Price's mother now calling for Officer Lucas to face justice.
And just let him feel the pain that I'm feeling.
And tonight, Officer Lucas remains behind bars. His bail set at $1 million. The police union says it's monitoring this ongoing investigation, and so far,
NBC News has not been able to locate an attorney. Lester?
All right, Morgan, thank you. In just 60 seconds, with the COVID crisis in the White House, our in-depth look at those rapid diagnostic tests, their accuracy, their limitations, and just how they should be used. In the search for solutions tonight, growing questions about the type of COVID
Eh bien, nous sommes en direct. Bienvenue à tous pour ce cours de piano en direct sur Harmonie et Piano. Donc, dans ce live, je répondrai à vos questions. Tac. Et puis, je répondrai à vos questions. Et puis, on parlera de piano, tout ça. Ah, Maxime, ça fait plaisir. Salut Maxime, ça va? Donc, est-ce que vous m'entendez bien? Est-ce que vous me voyez bien? Donc, vous voyez, nouvelle innovation technologique sur la chaîne. Un magnifique... donc, ça prend un peu plus de place. Mais un nouvel éclairage pour les touches du piano. Donc, on est vraiment très content de ça. C'est Hugo voilà, on s'est débrouillé avec Hugo pour avoir ça. Donc, très pratique. Petite explication de ce nouvel outil pédagogique pour vous montrer, vous voyez. Donc, c'est pas nouveau, hein, les touches du piano s'allument, c'est beaucoup plus minimaliste quand même, beaucoup plus élégant.
Матина, какие инвестиции нужны, чтобы запустить бизнес на посуточную аренду?
Для этого мне нужны большие инвестиции и даже мне нужна собственная...
3, 2, 1. Hello everybody and welcome to Stream Geeks Live.
Happy Monday, we hope that you had a wonderful weekend.
Today we're talking about how to accept donations on your live streams. And I can't wait to talk about this. I think this is great for nonprofits, and I think it's a huge place for churches to open their revenue streams by accepting donations online.
Absolutely. We're going to kind of start from the basics of just different platforms that do allow you to accept donations on your website and what have you, like PushPay, excuse me, I missed it. Absolutely. We're going to kind of start from the basics of just different platforms that do allow you to accept donations on your website and what have you, and tiv.ly.
Yes, having a digital donation platform in place is certainly going to be something you're going to want to do when you're doing all the social media outreach and getting in front of a lot of people. You want that in place. And a lot of churches do have that in place in nonprofits. But what a lot of churches aren't taking advantage of are the great ways of accepting donations directly through Facebook and YouTube. And that's what we're going to focus on today. And it's really a great way to increase the amount of money you can raise with your wonderful live streams.
When the show's over today, don't forget that we do have a Facebook user group completely dedicated to House of Worship streaming, so you're going to want to join that at facebook.com/group/churchstreamers.
Okay, well, let's get into it. All this and more is coming up next.
Когда у нас мужские появятся стримеры, чарт-стримеры, тогда я кому-то расскажу. Чарч-драмеры и чарч-металлисты. Ладно, я молчал уже, поэтому молчал.
All right, so let's get into our presentation today about accepting live donations. First thing, as we mentioned, is getting digital donations set up for your website, for your church is an incredibly important step to really make all of this work. Because sometimes that's, people might find out about you through, really make all of this work. Because for your church is an incredibly important donations set up for your website, for your church is an incredibly important step to really make all of this work. Because sometimes that's, people might find out about you through, YouTube or Facebook, and then they end up watching regularly on your website. You want to have that as kind of a main place to accept donations.
Absolutely, and if nothing else, you can be linking to your donations page on your live stream description, so you want to make sure that you have that set up on your site.
Yeah, what we've seen a lot of churches doing, I'm just going to skip ahead on this for 1 second, is integrating a donate button into their website specifically. So usually they'll integrate a give button right next to where the live stream is on their website. Now really quickly, a moment on wording. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments below in the chat room, but a lot of churches are using the word digital donations, and others are using online contributions. I just want to think about this for a second. Think about the difference between a donation and a contribution, and a donor and a contributor. And I've talked to a lot of churches about this, and I feel like the word contribution really holds more esteem over than a donation. Being a contributor is really something that you might be a recurring contributor, and it really makes you feel like you're contributing to the overall, as opposed to giving a donation that might be a one-time donation, or it might be something that's for a specific cause, as opposed to contributing to a larger cause. So just a little thought on wording there. This is the Grace Anglican Church, actually originally established. Tom's one of the supporting members, Tom Sinclair.
So cool.
And they have just a simple PayPal button. So PushPay does a lot more and has all these features specifically for churches. But if you simply want to get started with PayPal, which I believe is free to set up, you can simply put a donate button right below your live stream. And they do have a little space there for accepting recurring donations, and that's something that you really want to encourage with all of these digital donations. Now on YouTube and Facebook, there are ways to set up recurring donations as well. So just imagine that, with the scalability of YouTube and Facebook reaching so many people, and then setting up donations that are one-time or recurring. So we'll talk about how all that works. Now, I wanted to introduce you guys to Dare to Imagine Church in Philadelphia. They're very forward-thinking. They use a lot of technology, including live streaming. They also have a podcast, and digital donations have really been transformational for them. Let's hear from Pastor Kevin Johnson about how he's been using actually PushPay for over a year now.
I am Kevin Johnson. I'm the lead founding pastor of Dare to Imagine Church. We were founded on December 28, 2014. On that day, we had over 77 people, 57 people join, and we've grown since then. In 1 year, we have been blessed to have over 400 members. I've always used technology wherever church I have been, whether it's using the internet, having online giving, all of those things. But what I saw differently, I had gone to a church there in Philadelphia that was using PushPay, and I went to the worship service, and I saw how easy it was. And I was like, wow. And they gave me instructions. And then a few seconds, I had given some money to the church. And I said, when we started our church, Dare to Imagine, I wanted to have that same technology. And we've been using PushPay now for over a year. So last week, we had this blizzard that just came out of nowhere that wrecked the entire East Coast. And initially, we were a little concerned as to what we were going to do. So we had worship via conference. Thanks to they're really dismissed. People bought for those who are older, who just want to be, this is church for a new day. And you have to evolve, otherwise you'll be left really in the dust.
Okay, so just incredible message from Pastor Johnson. One of the things that really I think is so amazing is that not only do they generate revenue through their live streams, but they had a time when there was a big storm over here in the Northeast. It shut down everything, but they were still able to reach everybody with a teleconference and with a live. They actually couldn't live stream because they couldn't even get to the church.
Right.
So they just did a teleconference, but using PushPay, they actually raised just as much as they would on a regular Sunday.
Wow, that's amazing.
So just think about what that could do, even just on one Sunday, let alone the growth and change that it could have on your entire organization. So ask questions. Now we're going to jump into the social media giving on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes.
So one of the cool things is right now, we are already raising money for a local church here in Westchester, actually the Calvary Lutheran Church here in Westchester. And I want to show you guys what that looks like right now. So you can see here that this is on Facebook. So one of the cool things is right there's our show. We are already raising money. Is there a little audio coming through? Sorry. You can see that we've already raised $20 for the Calvary Lutheran Church there. So we're going to talk about how you can raise quite a bit of money for your church. That's Facebook already. Sorry about that. And then here's YouTube. Let me make sure these don't push the audio over there. Sorry. And then on the YouTube side, see we have these little cards here where we can actually donate directly to actually the Dare to Imagine Church. You have to log in to donate, but that's another way to do a donation. So how do we set this up, Tess?
So when you go to schedule your live stream, you'll have an option, just us as a regular page nonprofit, to select a nonprofit and pick any nonprofit, church, or otherwise not churches, just anybody that's registered as a nonprofit on Facebook is able to go ahead and you just basically tag them. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. You tag them, and it pops up. It's as easy as that.
It's so easy to have other people, other organizations support you. Not only you yourself can raise money, but other people may be able to raise for you. So to do this, you need to set up yourself as a 501c nonprofit with both YouTube and Facebook. Once you've done that, and keep in mind on Facebook, your page type must be nonprofit organization. Once you've done that, you can actually put a donate button right on your Facebook page, and every time someone mentions you on Facebook, they will be prompted to set up a donate link directly on their live stream. Just like you're seeing on our live stream now, you can see it says raise money and there's a little donate button. Let's see, here we go. You should see that actually on every page. So let's show a little setup video that we made showing you exactly how to walk through this. So you can see here that you can actually click, instead of support a nonprofit button there, Tess? And that support nonprofit button basically populates with every nonprofit that's registered on Facebook.
Yep.
So as long as your nonprofit is on Facebook, you should be able to the button. You can see here that page. So let's show a little setup video that we made showing you exactly how to walk through this. So you can see here that you can actually click, instead of support a nonprofit button there, Tess? You can actually click, instead of support a nonprofit button there, Tess? And that support nonprofit button basically populates with every nonprofit that's registered on Facebook.
Yep.
So as long as your nonprofit is on Facebook, you should be able to very easily add that donate button there, which is so awesome.
There you see the donate on the scheduled live stream. That's the button you should be seeing on Facebook that you can click. There's a few options to pay with a card or PayPal directly through Facebook. You don't have to leave the platform. You can also set a recurring payment here. You can also decide if you want to make the donation public or private, which I know is really important for a lot of donors. Doesn't get much easier than that. I don't know if we went through with it fully. I think we did.
Yeah, no, I made a donation here, and one of the cool things is that you can post directly to the live audience. I love that portion of it. And then, because that really makes it shareable, it makes people know in the chat, it actually announces, hey, this person actually donated directly to the church. And you can click that share button, which is so awesome. And then I just kind of walk through, I actually just shared this on my timeline. So now all my friends know that I've just donated to the church. I think I shared this actually in a group as well, potentially. Yeah, I shared it right on my Facebook page. So I said, I just donated on this live stream this much money, and it really just helps to make it kind of shareable and get out to the world in a way that, honestly, I think this is maybe the best way to get that outreach on that Sunday morning when everyone's in the mood. Some people might be traveling, they might be on vacation. Actually, Pastor Johnson from the Dare to Imagine Church mentioned a woman who was 85 years old who couldn't make it into church. She was just so happy that she could be a contributor and contribute online.
I just like that you don't have to leave the platform. And I mean, it's a lot easier than putting the link to your donate page within your stream because you're not sending somebody away from your live stream.
Now here we are on YouTube, and YouTube has two different ways to do live streaming, and I just added here, as you can see, the ability to add what's called a YouTube card for donating to the Dare to Imagine Church. You see this on YouTube right now. There'll be a little card in the top right, and that's how you do it. You just create the card right there. And then when you view on the watch page, once you're live, a little card will show up in the top right there. Now, just to make that a little more clear, YouTube also has a new way of accepting donations through something called Super Chat, but they're rolling that feature out slowly, and we've seen this happen. It can take anywhere from 1 to 3 months. You might have access to it. You might have access to it in 3 months. But then these new cutting-edge technologies, we're going to tell you about.
Now, what's the benefit of the new Super Chat for nonprofits?
Well, the new Super Chat for nonprofits, once it's set up and the page has it, again, just like Facebook, any YouTuber can use it. So if we would like to sponsor your church for the week, even though our page is not a nonprofit, we can select to have all of our Super Chats go to it.
I love that any user can have access to support somebody else's cause. And I don't believe that they are going to charge a percentage towards YouTube for the nonprofit Super Chat feature.
That's the great part. 100% of the purchased amount will be donated to the nonprofit. You can make it public, which is really great. And that's one of the things I really think is great is the public of it. You have the ability to do a private donation, as you saw on Facebook, but I decided to share it and make it public. So you have privacy, but you also have the ability to have kind of make it shared with everyone. Now, the other thing that I see a lot of churches are missing on here is this donate button right here. The thing about the donate button that's so important is a lot of churches, and I was just looking around trying to find a church that had a donate button enabled, and I actually couldn't find one. It took me like 20 minutes. So many churches over and over again I was looking at are not using this donate button right on Facebook. And I think it's a great way to integrate the donations with all the videos and media that you're posting directly on Facebook. And to enable this, it's really simple. You go to the back end of your page, you click Add Button, edit the button, and then you simply change it to the donation button.
Nice. A quick question from the chat. Jay says, will the option still work to donate if you're streaming a worship service with copyrighted music?
Well, that I have not tested, I will be honest. Copyrighted music can get flagged. So on YouTube and Facebook handle it differently. If YouTube senses copyrighted music, they will monetize your video. So therefore, they will show ads on top of your video. You should still be able to accept donations. That shouldn't have an effect on it. The donations through Super Chat, which are called Super Chat for Good, which are coming soon. I haven't had a chance to test it, but I'm assuming it's exactly like a Super Chat. The money gets sent directly to you, 100% of those profits, and then for those donations. And then on Facebook, Facebook will actually, at this point, they'll just mute your audio.
Yeah, they don't necessarily cut the stream.
So it might be something that you want to think about. I know, I'd rather have the video, at least have the video. But it shouldn't stop people from being able to donate to you. And, copyrighted music is an issue, I agree. You may need to mute the audio input in your video production software and switch the song to something that's not copyrighted.
Want to sell it in 90 minutes?
To help with that. But if you're having copyright flags, issues, there's a lot of videos online that you can search for that.
Question coming in from Bob. Why do you think it's better than setting up donations via links like PayPal?
So pushpay.com has all kinds of features that go on top of it that are specific to churches and houses of worship. They allow you to have a whole management platform in the background where you can send reminders and thank yous for the giving, give a total for
just some more features, right?
A lot more features.
And as for donating on social media platforms directly, I think that it's nice that you don't have to force the viewer to leave the platform during the content being distributed. So they get to stay right there, they don't leave the stream.
Yeah.
And by sending them to PayPal or your website, that is setting them away from the stream.
Yes. And there's something about having no friction, just easier to do. And there might be people who, your regular contributors to your church I would say you probably want them to go onto, PayPal or PushPay, something with recurring, setup that's really easy to manage for you, because those are your supporting members. A lot of churches, like we were looking at, the Dare to Imagine Church in Philadelphia, they're trying to push people to go more digital, and some of the testimonials say that by the time the collection plate reaches the person at the church, they've already donated digitally with their phone. So it makes it easier for everyone to stay on track, budget, and make those recurring donations much more quickly and easily. And then on the social media side, I see it as just additional revenue streams for the churches where it's on top of everything else. Any idea why the donate button is not available for our church? Yes, so again, are you registered as a 501c? 2, is your page on Facebook set up the actual back end
category? Yeah, so when you build your page, I believe you get to select a category to belong to, and you want to go within the nonprofit category. I believe that's what gives you the features.
That's what you're looking for there, and I think it's one of the biggest ways to increase on top of all of the digital donations. And we mentioned this before, but having those digital donations set up is so crucial, because this is about getting people online to know about you, to get to your website, and you don't want to miss that opportunity, obviously.
This is a fun one that I just learned about today. The cards.
Yes, the YouTube cards. The YouTube cards are great. You can, now currently, I just want to make sure everyone knows this, it's available in the United States, I've covered up a couple of those, Australia, but there's some countries that it's not available in currently, and YouTube Super Chat is only going to be available in the US in the beginning, and they're only rolling it out to certain people. It's very, very new, it's very much cutting edge. You may have access to it, you may not, but it's like YouTube Premieres, if you remember that test. It will come, but they're testing it right now. It's kind of in beta.
This is a good question for Bob. My needs are not for church use, but maybe for buying raffle tickets for a show competition. Is there any way for non-church or non-profit operations to use similar features?
Well, on Facebook, there is no monetization other than for nonprofits, which is why I think Facebook is doing an amazing thing here, really trying to help churches and nonprofits. On the YouTube side, you can have YouTube Super Chats. You have to check out our video on YouTube Super Chats with IFT.
Super Chat's not limited to nonprofits.
Super Chat is a regular way that they will take 30% of the revenue, but it's a great way to generate revenue for businesses. And you can have, like, let's say, a $10 Super Chat, light up a screen, or launch a confetti cannon, do so many things, log all of the purchases in a Google Sheet using if this, then that.
If this and that, got it. And check out Twitch as well, because Twitch does offer some really creative monetization options that might work for somebody that was building some sort of raffle ticket function.
Yes. Let's talk about it a little bit more in our post show. That's all we have today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the podcast. Stick around and ask your questions.
With Wix e-commerce, you can do just that. Meet Angel, founder of the Spice Suite, a $2 million multi-channel business on Wix. I just released.
занимаясь всего по 1 часу в день. Тогда не регистрируйтесь на бесплатный онлайн-урок в онлайн-школе юриста. Вся информация придет вам в личные сообщения.
Que l'ancien est très intéressant, les notes s'affichent au-dessus pour ceux qui ont un peu du mal avec le placement de notes sur le clavier, et déjà avec des bémols. Donc quand je parlerai de tonalité de mi bémol, je commence par la note de mi bémol, et bien la note de mi bémol s'affichera et non pas la note de ré dièse. C'était beaucoup plus pratique que les notes en bémol s'affichent, mais très peu de logiciels le proposent, et en plus de ça, les touches sont en français et pas en américain, vous n'avez pas des lettres qui s'affichent, des G, des B, des A, et voilà quoi. Donc ça c'est bien pratique, et en plus de ça, truc très intéressant, parce qu'on s'est rendu compte que pas mal de débutants avaient du mal avec la pédale, et pas forcément des débutants, mais c'est vrai que la question de la pédale est une question importante en piano. Et bien vous voyez, quand le jaune s'affiche, ça veut dire que j'appuie sur la pédale, vous voyez, et ça laisse la note qui est tenue par la pédale, et bien elle s'allume toujours, vous voyez. Si je lâche la pédale, il y a tout qui s'enlève, et quand c'est sur jaune, ça veut dire que j'appuie sur la pédale, et là vous pouvez voir les moments où j'enlève et j'appuie sur la pédale. Donc ça c'est vraiment pratique pour, ça va vraiment être pratique pour, voilà, si vous avez des questions sur l'utilisation de la pédale, sur tout ça. Voilà. Donc,
методика образования. Мы этого не говорили. Молодец. Не надо. Не надо. Ничего я не делаю, прямо там советуйте. Набирать. Вот это и есть оно. Типа того. Ну да, наоборот. повышение квалификации. Почему? Кстати, не знаю. Ой, больно надо. Карта 4. смотри, даже не написал. Время. Ну ты чё, смеешься, конечно. Самое зачем это логика такая, мне никто работу такой не даст. Короче. Никто не собирается. У нас такой тоже не решает. Поразмыслим вместе. Даже если так, нет, надо уже сейчас уезжать, уезжать. Вот зачем мне, какой смысл? Я не вижу резона, если у меня есть, как бы, да, деньги, ну типа, нет, зачем мне уезжать, вот оно фортепиано, вот он я, блин. Ты как бы... Нет, просто... Нет, если ты не умеешь, то ты куда-то не уедешь, ты все равно не будешь уметь играть на фортепиано, понимаешь? То есть как бы, не понимают он тебя просто, да. Ну иди нафиг. Учиться надо на работе, понимаешь? Работать, ну так вот. Ну это, ну вот так вот. Иначе, даже в бизнесе, наверное, так. А это, я вам ничего говорить не буду. А нам просто очень много чего учиться. И что из этого надо, не так много. Жизнь у тебя одна, у тебя жизнь-то одна, блядь, что там тебя будут учить. Как тебе бла-бла-бла-бла-бла, и все это, ну он тебя понимает. Ну нет, это все ничего, конечно, ну он тебя понял. Ну да. Возможно. Но это все время, знаешь, это все время. Ты бы как хотел все время? Вот так вот. Ну, думай, сам уж. Да, то есть, меня не интересует это, да, я понял. Жизнь твоя, вообще не надо, не надо. Да, поразмысли там. Great. Нет, наоборот. Нет. Надо ты имеешь в виду. Наоборот, поехало, наоборот. Ну нет, свой щиток нет. Ну так нет, время. Come. Чё? Ничего нахуй. Ты не видишь, я занят. Типа этого, нет, он говорит, что ты хочешь, ты такой, ну ладно, нет, у меня все хорошо, все нормально у тебя, нет, у него нормально, ладно. Еще 55 тысяч есть. Кредитная карта. Ну они кредитные, еще не 50 не надо. Так что в принципе я любой, если, ну да, ну наверное да, это можно говорить. Так непонятно, не понимает. Что, не понимаешь? Нет, наоборот, надо иметь больше заработать. Как это? Как ты можешь заработать? Ну да. С чем ты с этого? На чем вообще говорить? Эй! Think about it. You are going to be, yes. Гармонь, сам ты гармонь, да? Где моя лучшая фото? Это лучше. Нет, вот это хорошо, это все-таки. Нет, надо. Допусти его. Наоборот. Ну как бы, да. Ну надо иметь в виду. Это все нищетово делает. Я тебе по секрету скажу, все это нищетово. Ты даже не понимаешь. Ты че? Даже крикнуть не можешь. Че? Ну сюда садись. Ты не понял? Вот так, как это работает? Я не понимаю, как это так. Что такое, блин? Тут надо. Сам такой.